we have a much bigger problem than Epstein. We have a much bigger problem than immigration. We have a problem with the fact that our Constitution of the United States of America is not operating. I've had a lot of parents reaching out to me ever since I started talking about the custody battle that I'm going through right now with my daughter. I lost custody of my 6-year-old daughter in October after a unjust and unfair decision by the judge. There was no due process in my case, and there was no evidence to prove any of the claims that the other party was making. My case is in appeal, and I have been talking about it on the internet for the last 7 months. Some people are reasonably concerned about whether or not I should be talking about this in the open. A lot of the stuff I am pretty transparent about. I'm nervous about this too, but it's not going to keep me from talking about it. For one thing, there are apparently a lot of parents out there on a gag order who are dealing with CPS and DHS, and their children have been taken because of court orders by the state, and these parents are just not even allowed to speak about their situations that they're going through. Mine is a little bit different. It does not involve the foster care system. I feel like those parents, if they could say some of the things I'm saying, they would. There's also a lot of parents out there who just are not wanting to put this information out there, but they really want to be part of an advocacy group. They want to know they're not alone. They want to be able to see that this is happening. It's real. There are parents out there talking about it. They're not delusional. Whatever happened with their custody case was unfair, unconstitutional. These judges, these courthouses are corrupt. Dealing with a toxic ex and parenting with them is really traumatic. It's really emotional. It's anxiety provoking, especially if this was our abuser and now we're having to negotiate parenting time and communication with this person, and then the judge is going to just go ahead and give them our child, give them full custody and full freedom over our kid. In the meantime, as a parent, you're still having to work and pay bills, and now you're going to have to learn the whole legal system to protect yourself. You're not even now protecting yourself against just your abuser, just your ex. You're not just protecting your children against this individual. You're now protecting them against the whole system. It feels hopeless. It feels like there's nothing you can do. This court stuff has me stumped because when we think we're doing something according to law, we get to court and we realize that they're just not following the law. And since we don't have an attorney, we did not get the memo. I have even had attorneys misinform me since the beginning of this case, people with law degrees stating that they took my daughter away from me because I wasn't supposed to move. This is just not true. The parenting plan I was following gave me the ability to move. There was no move contest. My ex-husband was simply upset that it was going to reduce his parenting time and cause him to pay more child support because we are now farther away. It did not have to reduce his parenting time. It did not have to increase his child support. I was fully prepared to negotiate these things with him. We were close enough to still be able to do enough parenting time if we would just come up with a modified arrangement, and he refused to do any of that because he is more focused on the power and control in the matter than what is actually in the best interest of my child. I am so not alone. I have women messaging me that their children have actually unalived themselves because of the conflict and dynamic with the family courts and having to be forced to live with the toxic narcissistic parent and being restricted and alienated against the mother. Okay, this is a serious problem. Children and mothers and fathers are losing their lives over these conflicts. The psychological abuse here is astronomical. It's hard to hold. It's hard to make space for. It's hard to sleep. It's hard to wake up. I mean, when you have this constant glaring cloud over you and you're already doing your best to survive in a society that is hard to survive in, and now they're really just holding your children as punishment for leaving our abusers, punishment for divorcing. What's going on? Not to mention the absolute gaslighting that, like, somehow moms aren't important anymore. Somehow we don't have a maternal bond with our child and we do not know what's best for them in every moment of their life. Somehow dads can just magically come into the picture after being absent and steal these children from their mothers, who are their primary caregivers, with judges completely overlooking constitutional law. This is real. This is happening. I'm not joking. I personally know young adults who were forced to live with the wrong parent through the court system are now in their, late teens, early 20s and cannot function. They have mental illnesses, disabilities, they cannot go out into society. They do not have the ability to trust anybody. They were completely betrayed, completely abandoned by our courting system, allowed to live with their abuser, allowed to live with the person that abused their parent their entire childhood, and then continues to alienate them against their parent, brainwash them, psychologically abuse them. And this is just being allowed. When these people go to court and they start talking about the other parent being the bad parent, the judges are believing them. They just will overlook this abuse. You can't tell me this is going to be fixed by judges having trauma-informed training. You can't tell me that a judge in the court of law, I don't even know what the qualifications for a judge is, okay, but these guys got to be pretty good at law, right? So they've also heard case after case after case consistently with professional witnesses on the stand consistently. How many psychologists have they heard testify? How many doctors? How many parents? How many child specialists have they actually heard testify that this is abuse, this is control, this is coercive, this is narcissism, this is whatever, okay? And they're going to look at you and look at your case like they don't know shit. Like they just dropped straight out of college, they're 22 years old, fresh in the law degree, and you have to actually preach them the law. And then you have to sit there and tell them how this is abuse when there's no way they can't know. They are most certainly trauma informed. They are creating the trauma. I don't usually get this passionate on my videos and upset, but this really hits a soft spot for me because I'm living through it. I'm dealing with it. I was one of those parents on the other side that thought, that's just not going to happen to me. I'm a great mom. I take good care of my kid. Her dad's not even hardly involved. He has no reason to change custody. This is a slam dunk case. I'm going to win. I'm going to keep my daughter. We're going to modify the parenting plan. We're going to go on with our lives. And I tell you, it has been nothing short of the definition of hell as to what I've been through the last 7.5 months since that judge made that decision for my child. Myself and other parents like me, we're out here, we're talking about it, we're making changes. There is things happening at the local level, there are things happening at the federal level, and we're not going to stop. I have a constitutional right to file a grievance and seek restitution to make this right from the government. We have a much bigger problem than Epstein. We have a much bigger problem than immigration. We have a problem with the fact that our Constitution of the United States of America is not operating. It's just not working. Nobody is following the Constitution.